as well. They have wellness sessions, sensual bedtime stories, and soundscapes. So it's going to really help you de-stress and calm down before bed. They also put out new content every single week, so there's always more new fun and exciting things to explore. And for listeners of the show, Dipsea is offering an extended 30-day trial. All you have to do is go to dipseastories.com/rageasmr. That is 30 days of full access for free by going to dipseastories.com/rageasmr. That's dipseastories.com/rageasmr. Thank you all so much for your support. Please take a minute to check out Dipsea. You are going to fall in love. And thank you so much, Dipsea, for sponsoring our video tonight. Alright, let's get into it. Hey guys, for tonight's video, well, quickly, before I do get into it, please remember that I do have a Patreon if you're looking for more ASMR content that's not here on my YouTube channel. If you're wanting more videos from me, you can always check out my Patreon. The link is right down below, right underneath the video. There will be a description box. If you open the description box, there will be a blue link that'll take you over to my Patreon. It's essentially like me having two separate ASMR channels because I do tons of ASMR videos over there that are not seen on my YouTube channel. So, if that's something you're interested in, you're welcome. To check that out. Always an option for you. But tonight, we are going to do another advice video asking me questions you wouldn't want to ask your family or friends. All the juicy stuff. And not just juicy, but very serious things as well that you guys just don't feel comfortable asking other people, and that's why I'm here. So I want you to always feel safe in this space and know that you are loved, you are appreciated, and you are safe. So let's get into these questions. So I'm not going to say the names of the people who've asked the questions because they might not want that. Just have a little skittle in my mouth. And my mic cover is still off from the last video I did. I did some scratching on the mic, so hopefully it's not bad. This person said, I struggle with expressing my true emotions to my family and friends because I fear they may judge me or look at me different if I talk about my insecurities or problems in life. I have never had a person that I could talk to about these thoughts and find myself harboring these feelings on the inside, starting to take a toll on me. So do you have any advice on learning how to feel comfortable talking about this kind of stuff with those closest to me? No. First and foremost, I always want to recommend to everybody, if you are dealing with things like this, or, any kind of mental health, anxiety, depression, things of that nature, to reach out for help. Talking to somebody is one of the best things I've ever done in my life for myself. And I recommend it to everyone and anyone. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing, I feel like we as a society we need to normalize it. I think it's gotten better from where it was like 20 years ago, but I still don't think it's in the place that it needs to be. I think that people's employment should offer it. Just, we need to be better across the board. So I will always offer up my advice for these things right? And give you the best advice I could give you based off things I've gone through in my life, and I've gone through a lot. And I've also taken a ton of courses on things, that have to do with mental health and addiction and criminology and so on and so forth. So I will put those two worlds together and give you my best advice, but I'm not a professional, at least not yet. So take what I say with a grain of salt. Okay, these are just my emotions, my suggestions, my advice. Couldn't think of the word. My advice. I'm gonna do some hand motions in this video as well while I whisper. It's just gonna be a pure whisper. So you said that it's really hard for you to talk to your friends and family about insecurities that you have, expressing your emotions. You feel like they're going to judge you or look at you differently. I have felt that way. I have felt like I needed to put my best foot forward in front of my family, especially because of things that I've gone through in the past, that now I feel like I need to be perfect. Every time they see me, anytime they talk to me, it needs to be like rainbows and butterflies, so that nobody worries about me, and so they can see like she has her shit together, right? No, your family's going to love you regardless. They're your family. So I know that our first thought is that we're not good enough, so people are going to think we're not good enough because we feel it. No, baby, you are good enough, and what you're doing is good enough. You getting up and showering today is good enough, and even if you couldn't do that, that's okay. We need to be more gentle with ourselves. Every day's not going to be a good day. Every month's not going to be a good month. I had 2 years that weren't good, okay? And in that time I felt very down on myself and felt like I had wasted so much time, and I was such a disappointment, and how was I going to get back on track? How was I going to fix this? And that was 8 years ago, and I'm doing things I never imagined I could ever do in my life. And now I'm able to help people that were just like me in the same building that I once stood in, but on the opposite side of things. So I'm gonna get to the part, I promise, about your family and how to talk to them. But for you and how you're feeling, I promise that it will get easier. It might take some time, but I promise it will. And in terms of talking to your family, I would say that, it's very hard to talk to people in person and express your feelings such a weight off of yourself once you talk to them. I promise. And if you have to, practice talking to yourself, and almost like, how ASMR artists do role plays, don't feel embarrassed about it. Nobody has to know. If you have to practice talking as if you were talking to them, or journal it and kind of write out your feelings and how you want to approach it. But I promise you, once you cross over and start doing it, it's going to be that much easier to do it the next time. So I wish you the absolute best of luck, and I know that you are enough, and you don't have to be perfect all the time. The next question is advice on body image issues. I'm a cheerleader and all of my teammates are skinnier than me. I recently got my uniform, but when I put it on, I just broke down and cried because I thought I looked fat. And now I'm insecure on having to wear it around school and think that people will make fun of me. What should I do? Because I'm really stuck with this problem. First of all, you are absolutely beautiful. And I know we live in a time right now with social media as big as it is that everybody thinks that we all have to look this one way, right? Wrong. You are special and beautiful, and every body shape and body type is beautiful in its own sense. And I know it's hard for you to think that, right? I've been there, trust me. There are insecurities that I have, and I guarantee you that you look hot in that cheerleading outfit. I guarantee it. And I feel like, just because you are in your head and feeling that way does not mean that other people see you that way. Like I said, we could be our worst critics, right? We see ourselves in the worst way most of the time, right? If we wear a certain makeup or a certain outfit that makes us look and feel good, then we could feel better, right? But at the end of the day, you are your worst critic, and you are absolutely beautiful. So as your feelings are, I'm not telling you, oh, you're wrong for feeling the way you do. No. You feel whatever you feel, and that's valid, right? But I would try, some body positivity techniques, Google body positivity techniques online. It'll give you, different things that you can do to feel more comfortable within your body. Redo your hair, super special, and put on that cheerleading outfit and be confident in it, because when you are confident, it shows, baby. You walk in that room and people are going to be like, wow, she looks amazing. What did she do different? And it can just literally be your confidence. So I hope that helped, and I hope that you know how special you are and how beautiful you are. I truly, truly do. And just know that so many other people feel the way you feel. Probably, a lot of people. So know that you're not alone in those feelings, okay, sweetheart? The next question is, what are some good coping mechanisms for anger? Girl, I need to be better about my anger, and I try. ceiling, and who else is it affecting but you? Literally nobody. At the end of the day, you're going to be the one that's going to deal with your anger issues. So that has really helped me. I just turned the lighting down a bit because it was pretty bright, but like I was saying, I would practice deep breathing techniques, Google deep breathing techniques, or, search it on YouTube or the internet. The 1, 2, 3, breathe in, 1, 2, 3, hold it, 1, 2, 3, out through your nose, 1, 2, 3, and do that like 5 times in a row. Your breathing is going to calm you down. It's a known fact. So it's going to slow your heart rate, and it's going to calm you down. And then I would say, kind of give yourself a pep talk in your head, and you feel yourself getting to that point of, a certain anger, and kind of talk yourself down, right? Like, okay, I know where this is going. I know I'm about to, get super angry. Let me talk myself out of this. Let me woosah a little bit. I hope that helped you. I know music helps me a ton. Like, if I'm super angry or anxious or stressful, I'll just be like, you know what? I need to go for a car ride. Chris, I'll be back in an hour. And I just leave. I blast my music. I sing my heart out. I come home. I feel a lot better. The next question is, with my depression, I find it hard to motivate or do anything. How do I express how I feel to family and friends? Why am I acting different? Or why I'm not wanting to do a lot of things with them? So as I said in the first question I answered, counseling for your depression definitely suggests that. Depression is an awful thing, and I deal with it as well. And I go through ups and downs. In the summer, I'm pretty good because I'm out walking, I'm getting my vitamin D. Once it goes from summer to fall to winter, it starts to kick in, and depression is the B word. It sucks. It sucks. And there's days where I don't even want to get into the shower because I'm so depressed. I don't even want to change out of my pajamas because I'm so depressed. And I never really had depression as when in high school or anything like that. I dealt with more anxiety back then, and now it's shifted. I don't really have that much anxiety anymore, which I'm so grateful for. But I deal with a lot of depression. So, I'm personally not on any depression medication at this moment, but I definitely suggest it for the right person, doctor, professional, and see if that's right for you. But I would say, again, if you need to journal it and kind of write out your feelings and what you would want to say to get them to understand where you're at, because they are your family and they are your friends, and they are going to want to know what's going on with you and want to help. And depression is something that so many people deal with that, they're going to be understanding, and at least then they'll know what's going on with you, and no, it's not just because you just don't want to do things right. I've definitely felt that same way. It's like, oh, I want to make plans, and I feel bad that I'm breaking plans, but if you don't feel good, you don't feel good. And if that's all you need to say for now is, you know what, I'm not feeling my best, you don't need to go into deep details. If you sexual level. So that's kind of the difference between the two. And it's okay to explore your feelings. It's very normal. I have done the same in my life. I've explored my feelings and my sexuality. I was actually talking to a girl for a little bit a while back, and I was in the same place. Like, I didn't really know. It was very new for me, and I couldn't really identify what I was feeling because I hadn't felt that way for any other female ever. I never looked at females in that light. I thought girls were pretty beautiful, right? I could admire a female and appreciate her beauty, but I never liked a girl like that until I met this girl, and since then I still haven't felt that way for anybody. But it was hard to identify those feelings, right? So it's good that you're exploring how you feel and seeing what you want to do as far as your sexuality. But yeah, I don't know how else to explain that besides Platonic is just being very, very friendly, very close, but not being sexually active or romantic with that person. So I hope that helps, and follow your heart and do whatever makes you happy, and best of luck to you. The next question is about separation anxiety, and I have that with my son so badly, and it's hard. It's very hard, and it's kind of something that you just have to go through to get better at, if you know what I'm saying. So the first day might be horrible. The second day might be horrible. I remember when I had to be, I was living with my mom, and there was a situation where I had to go be somewhere else for a couple weeks, and it was somewhere I was uncomfortable, and I cried when my mom dropped me off because I was so out of my element. It was so different from what I was used to. And I just bawled my eyes out, and all I wanted to do was call her and tell her to come back and get me, but I didn't. I knew I needed to get past it because I'm like, okay, eventually I can't be with my mom forever, like I need to go out on my own and do these things. So when I was little and she would drop me off at camp, I would feel the same way, and I would cry for like the first day, then I'd be okay. I would say give yourself time, and unfortunately that's my best answer for you is, exposure therapy. You kind of have to put yourself through it and give yourself time, and it will start to get easier as it happens. And just tell yourself, like, okay, I'm going to see her again. This isn't forever. This is temporary. It's going to be okay. Kind of, pep talk yourself through it, and continue to tell yourself, once those thoughts come in of like overwhelming feelings, take a breath, take a couple deep breaths, and remind yourself, like, okay, I'm gonna see her in this many days, like, it's gonna be okay. Maybe do a countdown to the next time you see her again. And I hope that helps, sweetheart. The next question is asking how I bettered my relationship with my mother after everything that I've gone through in the past. They said that and count 1, 2, 3, and make sure you do the counting. Do that 5, 10, 15 times, as many times as you need to feel your body relaxing. And while you're doing that, make sure to kind of release the thoughts that are, clouding your brain. You can almost physically feel it start to release. And, move your head around and loosen your shoulders. Maybe massage in between your eyebrows where you carry a lot of tension. If you can, lay down somewhere and turn off the lights. Go into like a darker place. Put on one of those like eye masks to kind of block out everything. And de-stress, right? To try these different techniques. There's so many more. If you Google it, you'll find a ton. A lot of, therapists and things have videos on them, so I hope that helps. And please know and remember that you are not alone in your anxiety and in your panic attacks. I've dealt with them, and so have so many other people, and if it gets to a point where it's happening super often, talk to your parents, talk to a professional, to look into seeing, what the next steps are for you. The very, very last question. When starting your channel, what was the hardest thing to do? And I would say that it was learning everything. I literally didn't know that the camera needed to be turned. Like, I started filming videos, like, mobile friendly, and people would be in the comments and be like, turn the camera. I'm like, what? Like, it didn't. That's where I came from to where I am now. I literally didn't know that you had to edit videos. I thought people just, filmed and posted it. I didn't know how to edit. I had to teach myself that. I had to teach myself the marketing aspect of it, and, the business side of things. And you watch a video